I'm Batman. This is the CU Podcast Halloween edition for Tuesday, October 29, 2019.
You can drop that voice right now. I'm Ian.
Robin's with me on this
Oh my
podcast
God.
adventure. We're talking about Fallout 76 subscription service, EA games coming back to Steam, Nintendo Age, forums being shut down, potentially. Lion King, SNES, and Sega Genesis Aladdin carts, $1 million game sale, and Q&A and blah, 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 Patreon poll. Happy Halloween, everyone. I'm wearing a Batman mask that I can barely breathe through. I'm sick still, so that's good. It's good to cut off my nostrils when I can already not breathe that well. Ian, how's everything going? How was the buy two get one free sale at Luna Video Games?
Oh, it was busy. It was real busy. I was in Chula
Vista.
Chula Vista. I was in that one. That's the one that's generally a little bit slower. And when we opened, we had 4 people walk in, 2 of whom had lists ready and just handed them to us. And we started preparing.
Fulfill them. Like it's like a supermarket order?
Yeah, I wasn't there like the night before, but I guess they had come in and scouted looked at everything, and they were there at 10:20 in the morning waiting in line, and they got everything they wanted, and they made out real well. They ended up picking up like complete boxed copies of Final Fantasy 3 and with all the maps and stuff, and they ended up getting a lot of that stuff for half off or nothing.
The question I always ask you, was there anything Pat would have wanted during these sales?
I don't know. I don't look to see if there's anything I want anymore. Honestly,
no turbo stuff, really. No like boxed NES games that might be worth it.
Nope.
Even
as time goes on, it's harder and harder for me to think of stuff that like I want to see like weird hardware, etc. But even like Game Boy games and PC Engine, I don't like go crazy hunting for anymore. So I'm not really looking. It's when people themselves who are there find something cool, I go, oh hey, that's a good find. But I'm not really scouting it out myself before the sales anymore.
For me, it was always just whatever boxed NES games you might have that could be cool to pick up, and turbo stuff, which was rare. I don't think I ever bought a turbo thing from your store before. Maybe one thing, but I don't remember that. And then any other weird crap that was laying around. Like in the past, it was like Sega Master System games when I was trying to complete the collection, things like that.
Beyond, I can't. Yeah, when I can't even find enough Game Boy games to like personally take advantage of the sale, it means that either I'm just not looking anymore, or I'm not.
We're old.
Not excited.
We're done.
Yeah.
Real quick, Ian. I just got word from lovely Nancy at the warehouse. They are unloading my books right now.
Oh, nice.
I was trying to think how many tons of books it literally is. It's a lot of tons of books. It's literally tons of books, and they're unloading them now. So hopefully by the end of this week, all the pre-orders, they'll be starting to pack them. It's a lot of pre-orders and Kickstarter folks. So go to ultimatesnes.com. Get on that pre-order list before I pull that sucker down and send them out in the first batch. And order that. I can't breathe in this mask. WWE 2K20 is an absolute fantastic mess of a game, and it dropped about when we started doing the podcast a week ago.
Yeah,
I think, and I don't think people were prepared for how buggy and glitchy and unfinished a premium AAA title would be in 2019.
There was a part of me that really wanted to, knowing that it would be a disaster. There was a part of me that really
knew it was going to be.
Well, and I'll get to it. I mean, it was in the lead up. It was fairly obvious that it was going to be a disaster. I don't think anyone thought it was going to be good, and I would have loved to have had just the spare money lying around to throw at it so I could see it from day one. But basically, Ukes, the developer who's been working on these. Games, going all the way back to the SmackDown titles on the PlayStation 1. They are no longer working on the title. So starting, I think it was like 2K14 was the first year that Visual Concepts. So Visual Concepts is the team that did NFL 2K, NBA 2K. They were the actually I think Black Box might have been part of that too.
Black Box.
But anyways, they've been the 2K developers. So basically they were trying to bring the WWE games in-house under the 2K banner.
Okay.
So Ukes was working on them, but also Visual Concepts was working on them at the same time. This was the first year that they told Visual Concepts to go away. But So what happens is you've got a team taking over for another team.
I thought they told Ukes to go away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They told Ukes went away.
Oh, you said Visual Concepts went away. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Visual Concepts is the only one working on it this year.
Visual Concepts is the only one working on it, and they're working on tons and tons of just patched over code from years and years. This engine hasn't received a reset or an overhaul
forever.
In forever. When it pulled over to 2K, I think it was 14. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. That was the first year that they did the Visual Concepts Uke split. I think everyone was expecting something very different, but it wasn't. You got a couple new systems in there, but it was still very much the same game that they had always been putting out.
Antiquated 20-year engine, just about.
Yeah,
we're keep building up upon.
Exactly. This engine has been, the remnants of this go back 20 years. And now that the team that has been, that created it and developed it and been working on it over those 2 decades is gone, Visual Concepts is just left with this hot mess. So you had all sorts of visual glitches. You had instances of wrestlers just cloning themselves and appearing in multiple spots in the ring, floating away,
bouncing on the ropes.
Yeah, the ropes going crazy.
Yeah,
and I mean,
they're contorting the bodies, and it was like weird. Like it would, if there was an object in the ring, the person will start crouching along, and it was really the physics were getting bent in the game.
And these games have always had, their bugs and their problems, and now it's just, this is the critical point for it. It really shows that it shows the weaknesses of these yearly release models.
Sure.
You can't do this and expect to ever release a game that's going to come out and be polished. You're just playing catch up. You're playing catch up the entire time. And especially with wrestling, I don't think a yearly release isn't necessary.
They treat it like football games and NHL games.
I get why you do it, but for something like this to be fixed, you need to. And I'm not saying I think EA fixed NBA Live, but you need to really take a step back and go, okay, we're not releasing anything next year. We have to do this different.
Yeah, I don't think you do that.
Well, I don't know. Then you're never going to get a good game.
Well, here's what they should have done. Obviously, they had a shortened turnaround time, being that if they're recoding it from scratch, just about, they're like, fuck it, we don't want to deal with the...
No, they're not. They're not recoding anything from scratch. That's the problem. They're left with piles of code they no longer know how to use because their friends are gone.
Oh, so the documentation was... They're not just doing this from scratch, basically.
No, like I said, they're still trying to work with this...
Oh, they should have
mess, and they no longer have. That's what I was saying earlier. They no longer have the support of the people who, for better or for worse, created the mess. They're gone.
They're left with the code, but not how to use it. Work with it,
more or less.
Well, then they should have just threw it all out and said, we're gonna just maybe not 2 years off, but maybe a year and a half. We'll see you spring 2020.
Yeah, you need to break the yearly cycle if you want this to be fixed in any way, shape,
because
or
it's
form.
not just the glitches. The fact that the graphics took a step back. You looked at the
some of these models are absolutely awful.
They look like
PS2.
PS2, PS3.
Yeah, early PS3.
They look worse. You can't go back in time 8 years on graphics.
No.
On a yearly series. And I understand that there's a marketing campaign behind it, and things like that, but I read one report where when they were testing it, when people were given early access, I guess some reporters, they saw these problems back then.
Oh yeah.
So it's if the company knows it's going to be bad like this, then delay it a few months, because they already announced they're going to come out with a patch within a couple weeks for this stuff. So then fucking delay it. Don't. You're going to lose more money in the long run, because I hear about this this is a joke. This release.
Yeah.
I don't care about the shareholders. When you're going to lose money long term, yeah, you're going to get some profit still from the pre-orders and everything else, but the bad word of mouth can kill you over years when stuff like this happens.
The truth is, I don't think they'll suffer much for it at all. It's the only WWE game out there. It's the only regularly released wrestling game. We do have Fire Pro now, but Fire Pro is great in my preference, but it's a different game for a totally different market.
Yeah,
this is it. People are going to buy it regardless. It really doesn't matter if they release crap, and a lot of people are. in some instances, I'm glad that we have patches to fall back on. But people have become numb that they buy it and they just, instead of going, I bought a game that sucks, I shouldn't have bought it, I should have waited a year, they go, I bought a game that sucks, now let's play the patch waiting game. And they hope that the thing that they bought turns into a good game. And I think people buy this now going into it knowing that it's going to happen with their fingers crossed because it's the only wrestling game out there that they can buy.
According to this GameStop article, Ian, it looks like they did recode a lot of the game, probably because they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on.
Well, okay, so all I'm getting at is it's not like a brand new engine. They're still cobbling together bits and pieces of what they've been cobbling together for 20 years. Yeah, it was not a fully scratched game. No.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting at.
Well, a wrestling game
from scratch.
A wrestling game engine is so freaking complicated. I can't pick, there's nothing like out of the box you can probably, do for that versus other types of genres that I just, the horror of them having to do this in 9-10 months to get this thing out is insane. Besides obviously doing all the new character models.
And that's the thing, like, I do genuinely feel bad for the people who worked on the game because they're in an impossible situation. Yeah. It's not the developers that I feel that I have anger towards. It's the fact that, marketing and, production, what's the word I'm looking for? They need to tone it down. They need to say, you get an extra 6 months this year.
And then according to this, the most fun part of the game, WWE Originals, wasn't available at launch and won't arrive until October 28th.
That's the Creator Wrestler?
The Originals mode. I don't know what that is.
Okay. I thought there was like... I read something where the Creator Wrestler wasn't in from the beginning either, which is just nuts.
Or like Create a Belt wasn't or something.
Yeah, no, Creator Wrestler's in there. Create a Belt. That's what it was.
Becky Lynch's face wasn't, though. I saw the horrifying images of like...
Yeah.
Like just a skinless Becky Lynch face.
Yeah, just like the fucking eyeballs floating.
It was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Create a Title wasn't in there at the beginning.
So the patch is going to come, and then who knows? This is going to be patched all the way up until next year's release, probably at this point. Well, hopefully, another reason to root for AEW is that they'll probably put out their own wrestling game a year from now, and then you'll have some sort of choice at least, in the marketplace.
I have to wonder personally if that's where Ukes is heading, because Ukes has been they are one of the premier wrestling game developers. Like they developed the New Japan games back in the day, and then they did the SmackDown games. So they got their that's really what they're known for. I wonder with AEW being bigger and they're ostensibly big in Japan.
They announced a game already that they're doing one. So
I wonder. I should probably look into that. I wonder if that's the truth, but maybe Ukes is on it.
And the ratings have maintained pretty good levels for AEW after the first week. Even though they tailed off a little bit, they're still pretty good 4 weeks in. There. So all right, that's a fun mess. Whoa, is that my computer?
That's your computer.
What the heck was that? That was an autoplay ad on there for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So the other thing I was going to talk about, Mandalorian, the final trailer came out, and you actually hear Pedro Pascal speaking in the trailer. He says one line at the end. We don't have to watch the trailer. But it looks fantastic, this series.
Yeah, I might
have to wait till... They're not doing a Netflix thing. They're doing one a week, which is smart because then you keep people on the platform. I might wait till...
You keep people on the platform and you create that...
buzz for each episode.
You create the social TV watching thing. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I never saw the advantage of releasing every single episode on one day for marketing standpoint. On a
marketing standpoint, I don't. I get it. It's a great way to watch TV. Or at least, if you're sick, or boom, I can just binge this whole thing.
Or do the first 4 episodes, and then you do them. You know what I mean? Do something like that, and then do them every week. But I'll probably wait a couple months before I get the Disney Plus, because there's not a lot on there. I think that's when it launches, I'm going to want to see necessarily.
If DuckTales is on there at launch, I'll probably cut something and add that. No, because I didn't get a chance to catch up and watch season 2.
Is that not on? The new one?
The new one.
I was saying, is that not on Hulu or anything?
I don't believe so. And like I said, I didn't watch season 2, and I really enjoyed what I saw of season 1.
I saw one episode of it.
It was a great cartoon.
Looked cute. One episode. It looked clever. Looked cute there. But yeah, so I'm excited for the Mandalorian trailer, and. Halloween's coming up, Ian. You bought your candy? I got my bag from Costco on the way.
No, I didn't buy any candy.
Piece of candy.
Also, I don't need the temptation.
Oh, you don't give out candy?
We don't get anyone. I'll get a bag of candy beforehand, and I'll put it out there, and then I'll end up giving... When no one touches it, I will give it to the kids who live 2 apartment doors over. I'll just be like, here's all this candy.
Gotcha.